Hey everyone, this is GQ Recommends, and today we're going to talk about jewelry and how we style it.
We wanted to talk about jewelry because, as you might have heard, we're currently in the midst of a men's jewelry renaissance. There's a ton of different options out there across a wide array of different prices and styles. So even if you don't necessarily think you're a jewelry guy, chances are there's something out there, whether it's a ring, a bracelet, maybe even an earring, that you're gonna like.
I really like jewelry because it can add like a finishing touch to your outfit. There are a lot of trends out there, and it's sort of like the Wild West, really. You can kind of do whatever you want as long as you're showing off your personal style. It's a choose your own adventure. My personal jewelry style, it's pretty scant. It's pretty minimal. It's usually one necklace, actually usually just tucked into my shirt, and like one ring. Both of these pieces are made by a friend of mine who's a jewelry maker. Her brand is called Evelev Studio. Both of these are silver. I'm usually a silver jewelry kind of guy. Not that I'm opposed to gold, but because I tend to wear just two pieces at a time, I generally don't like to mix it. You don't have to spend a lot to get into the jewelry game. That's what's great about, say, like a brand like All Saints. If you're out like looking for vintage jewelry and you see a little engraving that says 925, that lets you know that that piece is actually sterling silver. It's a higher quality piece of silver. It's not mixed with other metals. It can be really affordable. I really like this piece actually. Sort of pearls, sort of like a classic military dog tag, but without the dog tag. Right around the $100 range. If you have a little bit more of a budget, Maple Co. is a really great brand stylistically and price point wise, a lot of great value there. Some of the pieces range from like a classic signet style ring that's never gonna go out of style to something maybe a little out there. This guy's kind of a horseshoe design with inset pearls. You know, I'm not really a pearl guy, but I actually really like how they've done that here. Usually pieces float around like $200, $300, something like that. If you have a very large budget, the next step up would be something like Good Art Hollywood. This is a brand that makes all their own jewelry in LA, in their studios. They do it all by hand, and it's top-notch stuff. This bracelet, it's heavy. Not only is it like pretty thick, it feels weighty. This is the stuff you see like Sylvester Stallone wearing. Apparently he's a really big fan. You'll see him decked out in all that stuff, which the style like totally makes sense for a guy like him.
I would describe my jewelry style as extra. I got 2 pearl necklaces, a biker chain. So this is like a pointed chain. And then I got a Chanel pearl necklace as well. I always like the idea of Chanel pearls, that like elegance of it. This is like usually what I wear on a regular basis. When I come into the office, it's all on me. And then I got in my mouth, I got a grill. My jeweler, Elan from Gabby and Elan Jewelry, made my grill. I have it in sections. I don't like consistent things. I wanted something that kind of stands out. When you see it, you're not gonna be like, oh, you just went for the typical like wrapper or so-and-so piece. You said, okay, now you put some thought process into it and you did something different. That's what I did for this. So it's 3, it's 2 in the middle, and it's all 3 on the other side. So if I ever wanna like exchange parts, I could like add stuff in and out. In the celebrity world, A$AP Rocky kind of influenced my style from how I dress to even the idea of wearing pearls. Just being from Harlem, being from out of town, you want to be jiggy, like you want to be fly. Like the idea of wearing pearls and doing these different things is the embodiment of Harlem. Seeing somebody like A$AP Rocky going with pearls or with pink is groundbreaking and is defining new masculinity. You dress how you want to dress. Like you wear what you want to wear. You put on what you want to put on. If it's fly to you, then it's fly. They don't care about what everybody else thinks. Copy it. There are a lot of cool brands making pearls these days, and one of them is Fry Powers with this cool pearl necklace. This is really dope. Like this is really rock star, and then you add the grungy element to it. So you got 2 looks in one. This is also from Fry Powers as well. If you want to take it to another level, you see the pink enamel. It reminds me of Killer Cam, Dipset, real Harlem stuff. This is really cool. This is really dope. If you haven't copped any jewelry, you're still trying to figure out what to do, what my lane is in this, just start. Take that step forward, like take the step forward and copy it. Cool is what you make it. So if you like something and you feel like it's dope, purchase it.
My own taste in jewelry skews towards the classic with a little bit of personality mixed in. I don't really want to buy something, especially if I'm investing a significant amount of money in it, and then not want to wear it ever again in a year's time. The bracelet here, these are Japanese glass beads and freshwater pearls. This is from a brand called San Angelo, which is really cool and also way more affordable than it should be. Everything else I'm wearing right now is vintage, sadly, if you're trying to buy the exact same one. This is a necklace from the early 50s, immediately post World War II. There's a Jewish star on there that says Zion, which means Zion. This is an Omega watch that's really small because it's actually a woman's style, which I like. I tend to gravitate towards much smaller faces than are popular right now. I have 3 earrings. My mom is not happy about any of them, but I think this was my way to compensate for a lack of tattoos. I think it's a lot more common for men to have a single earring, like some of the ones we see here. You might have caught a glimpse of like a dangly pearl earring on the person you follow on TikTok, various other influencers of the Gen Z set. I didn't really want to go for that look. I think it's very cool if you can pull it off, but this seemed a little bit more discreet to me. The brand that makes the 2 necklaces furthest from me is Evelev. It's a Miami-based brand that rose to prominence because Harry Styles is a huge fan, but Justin Bieber wears them all the time. They're really cool, and they're pretty affordable given the make and the type of construction that they use. They use a lot of freshwater pearls, which are really hot in men's jewelry right now, but they don't usually do exclusively pearls. They usually mix them with a glass bead of sort, which I think has kind of this crafty DIY vibe that feels like something your best friend would have made you at summer camp. I think one of the best parts about the men's jewelry renaissance is that there is this explosion of kooky, unabashedly fun jewelry. And if that seems like it's tough to wear, I think it actually pairs really well with the more conventional gold and silver jewelry that you might be eyeing. So maybe start out with something on the tamer side, but then don't be afraid to layer them and mix and match.
I think first and foremost, I'm a watch guy. That's the #1 thing I don't leave the house without. I've always just hated having like bare wrists as a kid, and then I started stealing my dad's watch in high school and doing like a 2-watch thing, which was a look that didn't work out. But a few years back, I was looking for like a new brand to go to. My boy Nate put me onto William L. It's this brand that started from one of the head designers of Longines. I always wore chains as a kid. I had a gold cross that my mom got me. 10 years ago, I started trying to search out what I wanted to start wearing as an adult. I landed on like just the classic gold rope, which is something that kind of never goes out of style. The first rope was really long, which made sense at the time, but then obviously, if you look at like hip hop culture and rappers now, chokers have become the thing. I definitely want to shorten it a little bit, so this chain is my first chain shortened, and then because I'm OD skinny, there's like some leftover, so got a second bracelet here. And then I started adding pendants to the mix. So this one, I'm not a big astrology guy, but I'm a Leo. You know, I wear a lot of black, so the onyx pendant always looks cool offsetting that. Polos are cool because you can kind of just like stack everything and they kind of just lay tastefully under the collar on any given day. I'll go out with at least 1 or 2 of the short ones and then 1 pendant, just depending on the fit. And then just a Cuban bracelet to kind of go a little Tony Soprano with it. Rings were kind of like my first foray into new territory. The thing about rings, it's like once you start with one, it kind of snowballs. I'm probably gonna stop here. I don't want to go full like Mr. T. A 6-piece is kind of a really aggressive thing to wear if I'm not like Travis Scott or anything. So I came up with the idea to just do this 2-piece thing that blends in almost imperceptibly. And I went to Gabby Elan to do that. They do everyone from like LeBron to Pusha T to anyone like me who walks in on the street. I'm sure they had a field day just doing this. It's probably like the simplest thing they do. So if you're thinking about getting into jewelry, the first thing to identify is like which piece of your body to accentuate first. Ask yourself, am I the watch guy? Am I a chain guy or dog tag? Focus there, and then you can build up to adding rings or bracelets. It's cool to find your personal style one piece at a time.
I would describe my personal jewelry style as a bit eclectic, definitely sentimental, and I like to mix metals. I don't think there's a rule to mixing metals. I would say, honestly, if you're considering it, to find like a sort of like hero piece that has both metals, and then from there, you can kind of go anywhere with it. For me, it's this watch that was my dad's. It's a Movado vintage. It just has like really prominent notes of gold and silver. I feel like that kind of gave me the permission to start just kind of like mixing different pieces together. Today, I'm wearing a pretty good mix of like what I generally like to wear on a daily basis. I have this ring is from my grandpa. He loves jewelry too. He was actually a jeweler in Ecuador. I have this piece that was from Chelsea Flea. This I really love. I got the jade ball at this Tibetan store, and I went to my jeweler in Chinatown and I had her string it around a gold chain. This is a David Yurman link bracelet that my dad gave to me as a graduation gift. He loves Yurman. And this ring was from a flea market in Argentina. It was maybe like $7 and it's solid sterling silver, but the ring was broken. And so I brought it to my jeweler and she just kind of like welded it together. And then I also have these forever link bracelets from Catbird, and they weld them on you so you can't take them on or off. For someone who's non-committal, it doesn't really give me a choice. One is really dainty in gold and the other one is a little thicker in silver, but it has this gold charm on it. So again, mixing metals. Some of my personal favorite jewelry brands, Bernard James has really beautiful fine jewelry, super talented, based in Brooklyn, has been at it for a while. I think he balances really nicely this like femininity and masculinity in his jewelry. This black diamond tennis necklace from Bernard James, to me, kind of like exemplifies that perfect balance. They're black diamonds, so you know they don't have as much of a sparkle, but they still have like a nice touch when they catch the light. The diamonds are small enough, you know, you can stack it with another like personal gold chain like I have here, and it won't take up too much attention, if you will. Another personal favorite is pearls. For example, we have like a very classic round pearl example here from Polite Worldwide. Really beautiful, really classic. And what I personally would do to kind of like mix it up a bit, combining it with this piece from Bibi Bella, who's a close friend of mine based here in New York. She, as you can see here, has mixed like traditional white pearls with gray pearls, which I really love. It's like my pearl version of mixing metals, I guess. If you're curious about exploring jewelry and you don't really know where to start, I feel like mixing the sentimental and the thrifted with like the pieces that are bought adds like a nice, unique angle to your personal style.
So we hope you learned something today. If you liked any of the jewelry that we talked about, they are in the description below, and we'll see you next time.